day is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning, Americans. It's Friday.
Everything wrong gonna be alright come September.
It's September. Maybe September.
September 1st. Can you believe it?
I can't.
Oh, man. It went by fast.
It seems like yesterday.
It does. Doesn't it?
That what? It was August?
No.
No.
Well, it was yesterday that it was August.
Okay.
It seems like we were just whining about college football is 150 days off and you got a hot summer to go through. Now we've been through it. And here it is. College football weekend. I love it. I just love it. And, you know, the Earth starts to tilt on its axis so that the rays of the sun don't directly burn through our skulls in Texas. So eventually that will take hold.
That's a slow process, though.
It is. It is amazing to me how pleasant 96 degrees seems now. That was the high yesterday.
That's a fact.
Is it amazing? It seems like it's 70.
It's like
it is so beautiful when it's 96. It's like, what a day!
We've been
middle of winter?
Overton windowed by the sun.
We have, man.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's 108, 96 feels very, very pleasant. So that's... And we got a little football news. I guess it was a bad night for the Huskers.
I mean, it wasn't a good one.
No. They lost 13-10 to Minnesota.
Yeah, they blew it.
Yeah.
Gave up a couple scores late.
Sucks. Really late, too, right?
Really late, Pat.
Yeah. That hurts.
Two turnovers. Yeah.
Missouri won.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing.
Beat the mighty South Dakota Coyotes or
the
whatever.
Coyotes, yeah.
Hold on. What did you start? What did you start to say?
A little disappointing. We hung 30.
Only 35-10.
Should have hung 50.
Yeah.
Man,
although that's a pretty good FCS team. They're not bad.
I wish my team would win by 25 points and I could be disappointed.
Well, we have it when they're playing an FCS team. It's like, that's different. You know, it's different.
Not with Nebraska.
We got
That's
Middle
true.
Tennessee State coming up.
Ooh.
So
you can throw out all the record books when Missouri and Middle Tennessee State get together. Yeah, that's going to be
State,
a barn burner.
Oof.
Yeah, we play K-State too, I think. I think the Cougars play K-State later in the year. I don't know, November maybe. But tomorrow, of course, it's Sam Houston. They don't like to be called Sam Houston State anymore for some reason. Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's weird because our whole...
Was it just Sam Houston?
It's just Sam Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. But they're an FBS team for the first time. BYU's a Big 12 team for the first time. You can maybe see on my shirt here. I broke the rules today and wore a T-shirt.
Broke the rules.
Because it's a big day. It's a big weekend.
Are there rules?
I think there once were. I don't know if there are any.
Those rules have been thrown out a long time ago.
I don't care about your rules. Well, I feel like I got through that opening segment talking about college football kind of unscathed. I'm feeling good.
Wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Because when I saw you earlier today, you came in here with your shirt inside out, and I thought, that's a problem.
He had a hard night. Yeah.
I did. I had it. No, I've already fixed it now.
Almost didn't say anything.
I already fixed it. Thank you,
I'm
Jimmy.
standing there, and I was like, I'm not going to say
That's
anything.
not possible that you almost didn't say something. That's not even possible. I don't believe that for half a second.
It's been a rough night. You're right, man. It was not fun. Hey, but speaking of Nebraska, real quick, can we see, congratulations, I mean, the greatest fans in the world. They showed up for the volleyball game. Did you see this?
This is unreal.
This is awesome.
This shows you what Nebraska fans are all about.
Yeah.
90,000, right?
92,003.
Shows you they're dying to cheer for something.
That's right, brother. No,
92,000 for a volleyball
team,
match.
Yeah, the volleyball team is right up there as far as
they're good every year.
The fans love that team, and there it is, Memorial Stadium.
My God.
That's
Crowd.
awesome.
That's the biggest volleyball crowd ever and the biggest crowd to ever witness a women's sporting event.
That would have been fun to be there. Would have been fun.
No kidding. That would have been great. You
Yeah.
probably can't see the action much except on the big screen.
That's
but,
probably true.
Jeez.
Still.
What
fun.
what an amazing show of support that is. And they won, right? They won the volleyball match.
Yeah, big time. I
So you
think
got
it
that
was-
going for you.
yeah.
They're ranked 4th in the country in volleyball. Also, the Godless Animals, sadly,
Yeah, they did.
pulled it
Beat
out
the Gators. Very
against
disappointing.
Florida. Florida's not even ranked. Florida's,
I know.
They haven't been good for a while. But, I mean, that's not your Urban Meyer Florida.
No, it is not.
You know? Not
it is
even
not.
close. But they won 24-11 last night. Whatever.
Whatever.
What I love about them is their fans have been yakking at BYU about the Big 12 and how it's a trailer park conference or whatever. And then what happens when the Pac-12 collapses? They come crawling to the trailer park conference.
Yeah.
We should have told them, no, you know what? We're all booked up. We're booked solid. Too many teams.
Maybe it's too early to know this.
There's not
Pat.
a conference that will say that to anyone
No,
these days.
that's true.
We're all booked up. No, we're
No,
not.
we're
Just
not.
come join.
But will BYU and Utah's rivalry be rekindled?
Oh,
like
yeah.
an end of the year game
Yes.
locked in?
Everybody's speculating it's going to be a Thanksgiving weekend thing.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do that because that'll be big for the conference. You like those
Have to.
big
yeah.
time rivalries. You want to encourage that, so I'm sure they will. All right. So yesterday, Joe Biden met with the folks at FEMA, and here's how that started.
Well, I don't know why I'm paying attention to these few guys up here. So, all kidding aside, my mother would say,
Don't kid.
I apologize for my back. I apologize.
It's another bit he does all the time.
All the time.
All the time. As my mother used to say, I apologize for my back.
This is
I
deal,
apologize for my front
Why does he have
too,
to
but
crack a joke?
I
at-
don't know.
At emergency
he
related
thinks he's
stuff.
so funny and charming. He wants to charm the audience,
Yeah.
and he believes, I don't know, he's got like Barack Obama powers of charisma or something. He does not.
Does not.
Does not. I mean, it's not even close. Nobody laughs. Nobody smiles. Nobody enjoys it. And yet he keeps doing the same stupid things over and over and over. At least you didn't tell anybody not to jump.
Yeah, we're on a dry spell as far as the don't jump goes.
Don't jump.
No, I don't necessarily need that.
I wonder if he got tired of it, or it finally hit him that I've done that too.
No,
I think he
I just
remembers
don't
what
know.
he says.
I just
Probably
don't
not.
think he's gone to an event where they've had people above
That's
him.
right. You know what? Oh my gosh! That's a directive. That's a directive. Make sure that there is nobody above his eye level at these events because we're tired of the don't jumps.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
and it's
Don't
not,
jump.
It's not really a funny thing to joke about suicide everywhere you go. Is that a funny thing?
Think this
Is that a thing?
Well, no, he's helping.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
telling him not
Not
to.
to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And by the way,
but-
Mr. Vacation is yet again going back to the beach in Delaware this weekend.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well,
It's been
it's
a
like-
brutal 4 days.
Oof.
Brutal. I mean, the
No,
guy.
I think he said he was going to Florida on Saturday, right?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, because he was pissed.
He said it.
He was because
Like,
he was mad.
How dare
'cause
you
they-
ask me about it?
Yeah.
Oh, like he knows where he's going.
No,
one
they
minute
tried to
the
ask him
next.
about something else, about the release of something, and he got pissed.
Yeah, he said, let's stick to the topic.
Oh, yeah,
Why
okay.
we're
Missed
here.
that.
And then he walked away. I'm going to Florida on Saturday. As he was leaving.
So that's less time to get on the same page with Hunter and his attorneys over there.
yeah.
I see. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's upset. He's like, I need this time to cram and figure out what we're going to lie about.
He then pulled a KJP and used the word landfill instead of landfall.
Man, he's
Watch this.
Helping them recover, at least doing an initial assessment of that Category 3 storm that made landfill.
not even close.
It made landfill.
Not even close.
Yeah, that's great. So it became like a city dump when it got there? Is that what
That's
happened?
Kind of.
Well, yeah.
It happens.
What is the... I mean, he didn't even realize it was anything wrong.
No, that was what it was.
Made landfill.
Category 3 storm that made landfill.
Just the worst.
Oh, man. Do you remember how they treated George W. Bush whenever he screwed things up? I mean, it was the
end of
worst.
the world.
He was the dumbest, most moronic person alive. And it's unbelievable this guy's our president. Joe Biden, every single day, does something worse than George W. Bush.
Yes.
And they ignore it completely.
Something is happening, though, because I noticed just yesterday, I was surprised that the Washington Post had a story that said Biden loves to retell certain stories. Some aren't credible. Some aren't credible.
Nearly all.
So they had this
credible.
big article on that. And then Newsweek does a thing out of the blue. Where did this come from? Fact check, did Joe Biden attend KKK leader's funeral?
Oh, really?
And they said, yes, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
welcome to it.
You're talking about Robert Byrd.
Exactly, yeah. So anyhow, I was surprised that they were both on the same day.
Interesting.
Out
That
of
is
the
interesting.
blue.
Yeah, I think it's starting to hit him. This guy's so old. And he's so decrepit, and he is compromised mentally. And I don't know if they care about that part because they just want somebody they can maneuver and tell what to do. But I think the optics of it are too much for him now. They see him shuffle from like Marine One to the White House, and it's like, okay, this guy's getting old.
Okay, but he's not the only one now, right? We've got Mitch, and we've got what's her face from California, and Fetterman, and Nancy Pelosi,
and Dianne Feinstein,
right, from California. That's her, Dianne Feinstein.
Okay,
and
right.
I couldn't remember her name. And but I mean, it's becoming noticeable. Like, whoa, hey,
like there's a lot of people.
Yeah, what's happening here?
Yeah,
but I doubt that's the main reason that the press is turning on him, because they don't care about the Republic. They see
don't.
the writing on the
That's
wall.
a good
I
point.
think with the Hunter.
they're just
scandal.
worried he's going to lose.
Yeah, because now we've got the 1,000 emails between Hunter's firm with the vice president's office when he was in office there as vice president.
Well, they were just emailing back and forth about the weather, right?
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So
thank you
anyway.
for that quick reminder.
Cloudy here. How's your day?
And there's 5,100 of those. I mean, he loves the weather.
He does.
He loves it.
It does.
So I think that they just see a very, very flawed candidate.
And he wants to run. Sadly, I mean, there's no.
It's weird that he does.
It is.
so
It sure
oblivious.
is, man.
Let's go. You're a millionaire now. You're a multimillionaire. You're 80. You're going to be, 81 by the time the election rolls around, going on 82. Why don't you just relax and take some time for you and Jill?
I mean, I don't want to spend time with Jill, but maybe you do.
Yeah, right.
How old would he be at the end of the prison sentence that he deserves?
4,203.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never too late for justice.
It's never too late.
Let's go.
Jeez. Also, speaking of Mitch McConnell, the doctor cleared him to continue his duties.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, the doctor cleared him. There's nothing wrong.
Okay.
What do you? Okay, so he's dehydrated.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this is typical of people who have had a concussion. Sometimes they
Just blank out. Just blank out.
So all these falls
They
that he's
don't
had,
though. That's not what he is not exhibiting concussion signs. He's exhibiting signs of a stroke.
Yeah, mini strokes.
Well, what was it, TIA? A lot of people chiming in that that's what it looks like, whatever that stood for. Google's too far
Tampa
away.
International Airport.
Yeah, so he's been suffering from Tampa International Airport, Pat,
Okay.
multiple times. I wonder if
boy.
these falls are him just freezing up as he's going down the stairs or something, or
Maybe.
just walking.
Maybe.
I don't know. But by the way, so in Kentucky, a lot of people sending me this helpful information yesterday. Thank you. That the Republican Party, under a law that was passed a couple of years ago, gets to submit 3 individuals in Kentucky to the governor, who's a Democrat, Andy Beshear, and then he has to pick from there who to replace Mitch. So it's not like a Democrat would just take over if he steps down right now. He needs to step down right now.
Wow.
Now, the worry is that Beshear might just ignore the law, because that's what we do now in America, is we just ignore laws that we don't like.
Boy, that's for sure.
And so that's the concern, that, hey, maybe he won't. So Anyway,
I'm sorry. Just do the right thing.
Yeah, Mitch, go.
Yeah, stop with the maneuvering and the manipulation and all the political games. Just do the right thing for a
Mitch
change.
McConnell is embarrassing now.
Yeah, he's bad.
They need to go. He needs to go.
And for his own good.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
He's older than Biden. He's 81.
It's just sad. And this guy, I mean, he's held on to power for so long.
Yep.
Just go away.
Right. Here's what his doctor said, though. I've consulted with Leader McConnell and conferred with his neurology team. And after evaluating yesterday's incident, I have informed Leader McConnell that he is medically clear to continue with his schedule as planned.
Oh, then we're fine.
Isn't that wonderful?
I like
Here's
that
the
doctor, I'll
thing.
tell you that.
Occasional lightheadedness is not uncommon in concussion recovery and can also be expected as a result of dehydration.
Yeah.
Lightheadedness? He wasn't lightheaded. He froze. He's staring off like he's a deer in headlights. That's not lightheadedness.
I'm thirsty. Yeah, I'm thirsty. Just pardon me while I stare off into nothing for a half a minute.
All right.
God.
It's embarrassing.
It is.
It is.
It's embarrassing. And it's harmful to the Republic, but nobody cares but us. Just us and our listeners. You know, a few scattered people from other shows do care, but it's just that amount of people. Apparently, Democrats don't give a rat's anus about this.
Nope.
And, well, Mitch McConnell's a Republican, so many rank-and-file Republicans don't either. Although I've heard a lot of Republicans say, it's time for this guy to go. I don't know anybody who's saying, no, he's fine.
Find a nice aquarium to go and retire in, turtle.
Yeah. Right. And then back to Joe, who apparently forgot how many days in a week there are.
Yeah, he's trying to say 24/7, 365. Am I overblowing this or? Yes.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we usually don't. We're not this engaged this often, but this last couple of years with climate change and really kicking in, you guys are going 24 hours a day and 365 days a year.
You forgot.
And it seems to just keep piling up.
24.
But 20. It's
24.
365. You know, but it shouldn't be lost that he's blaming climate change.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he said.
We got the clip.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next clip, actually.
And here it is.
We're in a situation where, you know,
don't die, man.
how can I say it?
He's gonna die right there.
There's still some deniers out there in terms of whether or not climate change has anything to do with any of this.
Now listen to this.
And we're going to need a whole hell of a lot more money to deal with emergency appropriations.
There we go.
To deal with all the
That's what it's all about. That's what it's
help us.
all about. He said the quiet part out loud. Yep, we're going to need a whole hell of a lot more money.
Is Mayorkas his new do boy? The last couple of days,
Yeah, I
he's
think
the guy that's there.
FEMA's under the DHS.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
I mean, Mayorkas, every time he turn around, he's there.
I know.
Is he Biden's new do boy?
Probably.
That's.
Smarmy little punk.
I
Can't
know.
stand his face.
Me, I'm with you, man.
Look at it. Just,
So you got Chris thinks he looks like a frog. So you got a frog. We've got a turtle.
snake.
Yeah.
He's a
Hell yeah.
snake. Oh, he's a snake in so many ways. But yeah, I mean, apparently Zelensky must have. There's got to be some sort of payout coming to him through this climate change money that they're about to allot. It's one drain on the treasury after another.
Then guess what happens at the end of the press conference?
Oh no, what?
Yeah, well, he's got to exit the podium.
Oh no!
And you know how that goes. And here it is.
I am going to Florida.
Wait,
I'm going to Florida.
I don't know this clip.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Is it the same one?
Okay, now.
Where am I going?
Where am I going?
Where am I going now? See? Even admitted it.
All right, a little bit of news there. The president says he's going to go visit Florida.
Wow, and he's not happy about it.
Well, because he was pissed before that. That's when they were asking him about the hunter and the emails and stuff. And he's, let's stick to what we're here for. He got pissed. And then they were saying about, they started asking him about going to Florida or doing something. And he was like, I'm going to Florida, okay?
Saturday. Tomorrow. Or Saturday.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he was pissed about that, about what happened before.
Yeah. And that's another sign of the aging process.
Yeah.
How crotchety you get at the end of your life. I've seen that happen before. several times, and it's obviously happening to him. He goes off at the spur. I mean, just with almost no provocation, he'll snap at you, and just show that nasty anger and that temper of his.
I'm just bringing your pudding.
Yeah.
Calm down.
How about we take this outside? You want to run around the block? You want to do some push-ups? How about a sit-up contest? Huh? You want to fight me? Let's go put on the gloves. Want to do that? Huh? Maybe we do bare knuckles. You want to go bare knuckles? All right. All right. The U.S. dollar and its global dominance has been threatened, and it's BRICS nations that are threatening it. For one, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa trying to get their own currency going. So how do you protect your IRA or 401k from the fallout of all of this? Well, you diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Historically, gold has always been a really good hedge against inflation in times of uncertainty. And that's right now. If there was ever a time of uncertainty and, just being on the brink, it is now. So get a free info kit on gold IRAs and decide for yourself if a tax shelter retirement account backed by physical precious metals is right for you. Just text the word PAT to 989898. It's just a monumental shift happening right now. So arm yourself with the information you need to protect your retirement savings. Text PAT to the number 989898. Claim your free info kit from Birch Gold.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right. Before we move on to other things, and it is Friday, coming up on in about an hour, we're going to talk to Tim Clarey from the Institute for Creation Research. Second week in a row, we've talked about or talked to somebody from that institute. But this time, it's not any sort of it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actual science. He's going to tell us about oil maybe not being a fossil fuel. Why is it so plentiful? Why do we find it all the time? Why has peak oil been declared about 100 times over the course of our existence with fossil fuels, and yet somehow it just keeps going? Wait. Okay, we found another massive reserve in North Dakota, Wyoming, and Utah, but that's it. It's going to be gone after. Oh, wait, we found another massive reserve in Texas again. And but that's it. It's going to be dry after that. And then, my gosh, look at this. Look at all the shale we're able to extract from. So that's happening, but only because of technology. That's going to run out soon. No, it isn't. Why? It's a renewable goo. I don't think Tim Clarey exactly agrees with my renewable goo
it's
theory.
Close, though.
But it's close.
Yeah, it is close.
So we'll talk to him about that.
And we'll convince him.
An hour.
We'll convince him in
you
an
think?
hour.
Yeah. All right. Change a scientist's mind. It's easy. It's easy to do. So yesterday, KJP talked about her morning routine. This is amazing.
This is awesome.
This is great.
Because there's not a chance this is true, but...
Oh, I have a theory, though.
All right. Here it is.
What is a day in the life of you like? Obviously, every day is a little bit different, but what's like a typical day for the White House press secretary?
Lying every day like that.
That is such a good question, and you really hit it right on the nose. Every day is very different. I am talking to you right now, Alex, about a very important announcement that that this administration is making on Medicare costs. That's so important. So that's one of the key parts. We're always talking about what we're doing for the American people, so that happens. But my day starts pretty early, 4:30 in the morning. I get up, I start reading in. I have my first meeting at around 7:30 in the morning with my team, and then it just continues. We're prepping for the briefing room. But one thing that I will say, as you're asking me this question, is that it is an honor and a privilege to be the White House press secretary for the President of the United States. That is never lost on me.
So she gets up at 4:30. Now her first meeting isn't until 7:30.
You'd think she'd be a little better at it with that kind of preparation.
I think she'd be a little better,
and she still sucks as bad as she does.
Terrible.
Either you're lying about your routine, or you're even worse than we thought.
Here's my theory. How long do you think it takes to work on that hair?
Okay. Take some time for the makeup. And
I think it's a 3-hour tour. I think she spends a lot of time, a lot of curls. Got to put her face on. She got to figure out which taxpayer-funded top of the line clothing she's going to put on for the day.
Yeah, that's hard because.
And how long is her commute? Choices. I mean, it's Washington D.C.
Yeah.
So I don't know that
she's got a driver. The car picks her up.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. All right. So she's not doing anything. She's getting ready for 3 hours before her 7:30 meeting.
Plus,
so I don't doubt that she wakes up that early. She's not working.
There was such an outrageous lie to follow. This might be the biggest lie of all time. I mean, so brazen, so bold, so obviously untrue to every single living human being with a brain. And yet, listen to what she says about this administration and their border efforts.
Oh.
The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue of immigration than anybody else.
What?
He really has. He really has.
He's done more to secure the border than anybody else.
He really has.
I swear, when you have to add that at the end,
he really
has.
That's like not a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. That's a I am not here.
I swear it is.
Lie.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it is.
I just wanted to get up in front of you today and say I am not here. But wait, Korean, we're looking right at you. No, you're not. I'm not here. You can't see me. Well, but I'm looking right at you right now, and so are 50 witnesses here. No, none of you can see me because I am not here. By the way, I need to make another announcement about how great this president is. Just today, we came up with water that is not wet. We have dry water now.
It really,
thanks to this president. We've been working on it for centuries, and yet this president got it done. We finally have dry water.
Hold on.
Yes.
I have a question here.
Go ahead.
So the Biden administration made it a priority to make water dry.
Yes.
Before the campaign promise of curing cancer?
No, that was after.
We made this a priority to make water dry before we cured this hideous disease, cancer?
Yes, because think of all the benefits you'll get now. I mean, you can walk under a sprinkler with your suit on, and it won't matter. It won't matter. You can go directly to your meeting still. So, yeah, I think the American people are going to thank us for that. You're welcome, by the way.
Okay.
Play that one more time because it is as outrageous as it gets.
I cannot stand these people.
Oh, my gosh.
The president has done more to secure the border and to deal with this issue of immigration than anybody else. He really has.
How do you let that stand?
How do you?
Is there a follow-up from anybody on that?
No, because she went for like 5 minutes of just this rant after that. It just didn't take a breath.
Well, she's busy writing that at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
so,
right.
To get to that.
You got her read-ins.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I got my read-ins and then my 7:30 meeting.
Then the meeting, okay, where they tell her what to say and she still can't say it.
Kidding.
Add
Giving
pages.
the American people a little bit more of a breathing room.
Yeah, okay.
It's painful, man.
Then she spent some time in the breathing room.
Which takes is room several members of her team to carry the great big book of everything into the briefing room.
Yeah.
And then we're good.
Yeah, then it's fine. So that's...
How much do you think that thing weighs? That book. Great big book of everything.
I mean, what are you looking at? 75?
90 pounds.
Yeah, 75.
90 pounds.
90 pounds.
Would be my guess.
I mean, is there any subject that isn't in that book?
It's been a devastation.
Yeah.
Every contingency.
She speaks like 2 or 3 languages, they claim.
What?
Yeah.
She can't even get through English. What do you mean? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, how many is it?
That's amazing.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I was...
I love this. She's fluent in English. Okay, there's your first lie. Wikipedia. She's fluent in English, French, and Haitian Creole.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You would, yes.
And BS.
Kind of understand that.
She's fluent in
BS. What are you saying?
I mean, I'm saying that that's where she's from. So obviously right?
Okay.
Did she come from there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she was born in
speaks that.
Martinique, I think.
Right.
She was born in France.
So here's the good news.
Her parents are Haitian.
She can never be president of the United States. So we have that going for us. Thank you.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Some Friday morning tweets for you. This from Unprecedented Xer. WNBA players are seeing that clip and wondering, which clip are we talking? Oh, the Nebraska volleyball clip.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Where there's 92,000 people. So the WNBA players are seeing that clip and wondering, what do we have to do to get 92,000 fans at our games? There's nothing you could do to get 92,000.
No.
Nope.
Offer them all $1,000 if they come to the game.
And maybe you'll get 50. Show up.
50 people
right.
or 50,000?
No, 50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Rowdy Introvert, Mayorkas could be cast to play Voldemort if they ever decide to remake the Harry Potter series. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. We also have this from Sean and Scene. That's because a lot of people in his life, he spells the name the correct way for a male, Sean.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I'll bet people call it Scene all the time. Scene? Is Scene here?
Scene. Who's next? Scene?
And then you have to decide, all right, do I want to explain?
Yeah, right.
Sean,
it's not worth it.
Just go with it. Anyway, sorry, Joe, you spent your climate change allowance on Ukraine. That's right.
Yeah, well.
Except it's not true.
No, it's not true.
Because we'll continue to funnel it.
And we were fortunate enough to give them another $250 million, right, of extra money.
Yep.
We found that bonus money. That they miscalculated. And so,
That's good. That's good.
Right. So there's more. We can give them more.
Yeah.
Hawaii doesn't need it. Ohio doesn't need it.
No.
Florida doesn't need it.
Carolinas don't need it.
No, Ukraine.
It's in the United States of America, the richest, most powerful nation on earth.
There you go, my friend.
They don't need any help. Jeffy's bionic man unit, not main. Jeffy's bionic man unit tweets, I love this too. Life advice for young men everywhere. Find a woman who looks at you like Mayorkas looks at Biden. That's really funny.
That's funny.
Kind of hung up on the bionic man unit part, though, myself.
Yeah. Bionic man unit.
Paid a lot of money for that.
Did you?
All right. So, again, we're going to talk oil and whether it's a renewable source in about 45, a little more than 45 minutes from now. So we got that going for us. This is kind of a continuation of last week's discussion because it was so interesting. And it seems like so many people, I don't know, was that their favorite one that we've done so far?
A lot of positive feedback.
Got a lot of feedback on that, on the Young Earth.
Awesome. Yeah, it was good.
So anyway, we'll continue that today because there's a few things about oil that nobody talks about that everyone knows. One of them we just found out recently. Who is that guy that we were playing the video of before the show started? Talking about oil and where the term fossil fuels came from.
I'll get back to you on that.
Anyway, it was a fascinating interview. I mean,
fascinating. And so we'll ask our guest Tim Clarey about this. But one of the things that is really interesting is that fossils never go. There's like a level they don't go beneath, and that's 16,000 feet. Okay, so 16,000 feet and above is where you find fossils. We extract oil from 30,000 feet all the time. He said every day. Well, then what do you mean that's fossil fuel? Those fossils can't make it down that low. So what are you talking about?
Right.
But they don't care. Facts and truth never get in the way of their agenda.
No.
That's the beauty of it. They're completely fact and truth free.
I am not here.
That's right. Did you see that the Proud Boys organizer just got 17 years in prison? These sentences that are good.
Good.
That'll teach him, right?
That's right. And it'll teach anybody else thinking about going to the Capitol.
How dare you go to the Capitol and not cause any harm? How dare you? I don't know what this guy did, but
he moved some barricades, I'll tell you that.
He did move barricades. He did. Is that an offense punishable?
Yes.
With 17 years in prison, do you think? There was something else they mentioned. Oh, okay,
I know.
yeah.
I was trying to remember what it was.
So he breached
hilarious.
police lines.
Oh, yeah.
Get this. Breached police lines and removed a black metal fence.
Yeah.
Is this guy Adolf Hitler's son? Grandson? Come on.
Yeah.
This guy is Adolf Hitler and Joe Stalin combined.
Yeah. Somebody had to say it.
Yeah, I
Thank
think so.
you.
And you might as well
Thank
throw
you.
a little Pol Pot in there for good measure.
Oh, come on
That's
now.
how despicable this person is. I hesitate to even call him a person. He's more an animal. I think he's a freaking animal.
I think okay, that may be true.
That's insulting to animals. I apologize.
I think you lost Jeffy at throwing in Pol Pot just
really?
in there.
That was too far?
Much.
Okay.
Too
The Hitler
I
and
didn't mean to
Stalin,
make
he
it
could
ridiculous.
Get on board. But you start throwing in
No,
Pol Pot.
Not Pol Pot, too.
Get a little hyperbole at that point.
I mean, it's silly. They don't even accuse him anywhere in this of, assault on a police officer or any authorities or destruction of property.
It was sedition, but they do. The final charge was sedition because of the
he was impeding the
barricade, right?
process or whatever.
And meanwhile, the President of the United States can get away with selling his country down the river to enrich his family.
Right.
Our nation be damned. And you wonder why people are so angry in this country.
Yeah, I know.
It's so frustrating, man. And the way they're treating these prisoners, it's not like, okay, you're going to have to do, home confinement or whatever. No, they are being treated worse there than at Gitmo. Gitmo's a holiday vacation for terrorists.
We showed that picture last week. With the guy laying on, I don't know. A mat. There's not even a bed in there. There's not a toilet in there.
They gave him a
They gave him a bucket. They got a mop bucket. Knock yourself out if you have to go to the bathroom. All right? And we provided you with ample resources to do the things you need to do in there. And it's maybe, 3 feet wide, about 10 or 15 feet long. It's
maybe.
I mean,
he's not dressed. He's in his underwear.
This nation feels like a kettle sitting on the stove, and it is about
to boil over.
Yes, sir. It's exactly what it
feel
feels
that way.
like. At least we don't have an election coming up, where one of the main candidates could be incarcerated and the other one, who knows if he'll even find his way off of a stage.
Yeah, there is that we got going for us. So you can always take heart, America, in that bottom line. Isn't that wonderful? All right, so this California video.
Yeah.
What are we about to see here?
Let's just see what's going on across the fruited plain. Let's go to Home Depot in California for the latest happenings there. And there, just another day in California. Organized crime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're just taking out.
Yep. Maybe you're out with your family.
Shopping cart full.
They're getting groceries for their family.
You're just getting groceries.
I just got to go get some nails down at the old Home Depot.
There's a thing though, Jeffy, called paying for it.
Really?
Yeah, that a lot of us use that.
Yeah, we're suckers.
Ancient method.
Yeah, we're suckers. Still
Home
paying
Depot
for
really
stuff.
doesn't sell a lot of groceries.
Where now it's just free. You just walk in and take it and leave.
It's worth the drive to California.
I'm surprised the employees filming it don't get in trouble.
No kidding. Oh, they might be. All right, so now let's go and check out New York City. What's going on there these days with all the elite? Oh, look at there. Now that's not a third world nation.
This is after they tidied up a bit.
Yeah, that is New York City.
Oh my God!
What a beautiful.
All these cities and municipalities are buying up hotels,
but now
to put these homeless people in, and so they're remodeling hotels. They're spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
And who do you think is eventually going to pay for that?
Oh, we of course are.
We are.
Okay, so that was California and New York.
Yeah.
Would you like a little feel good? Let's go to Nebraska here.
Okay.
Definitely not the
police
football
division
field.
responded to a call of a man driving eastbound on 275 with a Watusi bowl in his passenger seat.
Awesome.
The officers received a call reference.
Yeah, did you receive a call? I'd like to, first of all, who called?
Pause it for a sec.
Jeffy's not happy
Who
about
called?
this.
That pisses
Is there
me off.
a law in the books that a Watusi bowl may not
I don't know.
ride in the
officer.
passengers? Show it to me.
Show me,
And
officer.
Show me that
pisses
law.
me off
I'll
that
wait.
somebody called, first of all, because I don't know that I buy that.
Right.
And the cop was so generous, he wrote a warning
Oh.
at the end of this. Oh, police officer just wrote a warning.
But now
Get safely
now
away.
you've blown it. You've blown the whole premise, and we don't even have to watch it now because you already told us what happens at the end.
Wow, bro,
Sorry.
you gave it away.
Thanks a lot, Glenn Beck, for spoiling the movie for us. I'm driving to the town.
I mean, it's just agonizing.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it's a fun video, and the guy's got his bull in his car, and
Yeah.
it's cute. But it says on there that on the side of the car it's for a parade and it's for fun, and I just find it difficult to believe.
And the bull
someone
was fine. It
called.
wasn't like
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
torturing the animal. there.
Right.
He was enjoying the breeze. I mean, that's just leave well enough alone. Why do we have to do? Can you go back to the last?
Look at the size of that.
I know.
That is a big boy.
Wow.
That's a big boy.
Wow.
Can you go to the very last shot of the video? Because I noticed something that this guy did with his vehicle.
Okay.
So this used to be a police car, obviously. Okay, pause it right there. He's go back. Just go back to that frame. This is not worth it.
All
now.
right. Yeah.
He scratched off P and O, and it just says lice on the back of the car. I don't know. That stands out to me. I don't know why that just.
And I will say that's a good way to keep that bull in line too. He's got the other horns on the front of the car.
Okay.
Well, they're driving, so it's telling the bull that could be you. You start messing up. That's you. Okay.
So it's a little deterrent.
It is a little deterrent.
Okay. I didn't catch that. That's a good catch.
Now, one last video, if you would like a fun little animal video, which I know you would on a Frivolous
man.
Friday, right?
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know if this is Mitch McConnell, but is this turtle racist? That's the premise of this video. Take a look at this. So look, he's fine with the white shoe, right?
Okay.
He's fine.
Yeah.
There's a black shoe. Watch what happens.
Oh, wow.
What in the
He
world?
attacks it?
Yeah.
He attacks it.
Yeah. He does not like the black shoe. The white one, he can just live. But this one here, he just goes nuts on, man. Look at that, dude. Okay. We're done here.
Turtle supremacy.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Okay. Haven't seen this kid in a while.
No, we haven't.
Put it in my mouth. Straws don't belong there.
Because they have.
But the turtles don't know why.
Paper straws are poison, by the way.
Maybe they all deserve to die.
That is such a
Isn't that nice?
classic.
It is.
That kid is like 80 now. So he's in the same home that McConnell needs to go to.
He just got his first Social Security check. So that's great. That's great. He waited a long time, though, so he'd get the full amount that he was due. Good for him. He almost waited too long because that whole fund is about to go away. Sadly.
Wait, what?
I mean, they keep taking money out of it, and they've been doing that for decades. And we've been warning, hey, you know what? You should stop doing that because we're going to run out. Whoa. And then these people that have paid into it their entire lives and are counting on that money, it's just not going to be there.
We have a solution.
Don't worry about it.
We have a solution.
Okay.
You just need to move to Ukraine. All your money's there.
Or you need to.
Hold on. Train monkey time. Right. Can we do a Jimmy Stewart saying, your money isn't here, it's over in Vlad's house?
You're thinking of this place all wrong. The money's not here. It's with Vladimir. And
That's awesome.
Perfect.
It's across the pond, you see.
What are you working for Putin? You see.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
But you're right, man. And that's the thing, is that my retirement year that I start getting qualify for Social Security has always been that magic number. Like it's like that's the year I qualify. Is the year it runs dry, whatever the 34 or whatever. I don't know.
Very soon. Very soon. And I mean, do you get your Social Security updates? Like, here's what you made every year since you were born, and here's what you'll get at the end.
It's a green and white piece of paper.
Yeah.
And you think, man, the things I could have done with this money.
Right. I know. Yeah, what if I took that money and invested it? I'm pretty sure it'd be doing better than your fund is. And that's what Republicans used to say. I mean, they don't even talk about it anymore.
No, they don't.
It'd be bludgeoned to death and lied about. But they used to say, hey, why don't we stop that fund and then let Americans do their own retirement fund?
Now you're just talking crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you know who?
And you're right. In today's world,
you can't do it. You can't say that.
That just means
you're
that
dead.
You want to take Social Security away, and you're dead.
Politically dead.
If you will recall, in the hours after George W. Bush was reelected, he used the line, "I've now got political capital, and I'm going to spend it." And he was talking about privatizing just a very
Social
small
Security.
amount of Social Security.
Yes.
And the gates of hell opened up on a president who had just won re-election. And they were like, I don't think so, bro.
But to show you just how inept Republicans always are, there was a perfectly logical, reasonable explanation about that. Hey, this is voluntary. That's what they were talking about. They weren't even talking about forcing this situation.
Give
this is voluntary. You can stay in the same system if you want. But if you don't want to, then we won't take that money out of your account. We'll let you invest it on your own as you see fit. Or spend it on Twinkies.
Or do whatever you want.
Whatever.
It's your money.
It's up to you, though. But don't come crying to us when you're 65 and you don't have a penny.
Well.
But we're not adults anymore. We can't.
When you're 65 and you don't have a penny, go to Mexico, come across the border. We'll
take care of you. Sure. Put you up in a Ritz-Carlton somewhere that we just turned into a homeless shelter.
Help us.
It's amazing. But again, Republicans are absolutely feckless. They have no feck whatsoever.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
And when there's no feck, there's no trust. You got to have feck before we can trust you, and they don't.
They don't.
No.
They just
feck precedes trust.
Yes.
I was just making sure.
So if you're feckless, if you're completely void of feck, we can't trust you. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick to that. So I know that's going out on a limb. People probably bludgeon me online for it, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
That's good of you. That's strong of you.
The feck precedes the trust. Just like faith precedes the miracle.
Okay.
Feck
precedes
the trust.
Is that a bumper sticker that you're about to go and slap on the back of your car?
3,700 bumper stickers on my vehicle right now.
Precedes the trust.
All right, much more coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning, Americans. It's Friday.
Welcome. And not only that, but it's the 1st of September.
Everything wrong gonna be alright.
Been saying this all week.
Come September.
Maybe September.
Never was a cloudy day. Never. I love me some September.
No doubt.
And, up north, I love it when September rolls around because almost like it's a clock, the weather turns. I mean, it's amazing. That doesn't happen here, of course, in Texas.
Wait, you're saying that?
No, it sure does. It went from 110, it went from like 112 to 99.
That's 99
That
degrees
is true.
the
So
next
we got
5
it, too.
days. I mean, that's...
Is it for 5 days? Because I thought the hundreds were coming back.
Next
6
weekend,
days.
right? Next
6
weekend
days.
is the
Yeah,
100s again.
Nice.
and then back over 100 next Thursday. So
Okay.
you got some time of
All
crisp,
right.
cool air in the 90s.
And seriously, it's been beautiful the last couple days when it hasn't been 112 or whatever.
Walk out of the garage and it's 88.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey.
So frustrating when you come out of the
jacket.
house at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and it's 94 degrees. It's like, what? Come on. Come
Well, I will
on.
say, and we've touched on it before, but I will say it's been really nice. The humidity has not been too bad
That's
this
true.
summer.
Yeah.
Because, for years in
been the
Florida, man,
driest
you
I've
walk
ever seen
outside
it.
and it's like, wow, right in your face.
It's incredible. Yep. I'll tell you something else that's incredible. We got our fall line of cookies at Kexi.com available. And so I've cut some of these up for the
Look at you.
my peeps here.
Oh, that's so nice.
You're included in this, Chris, if you
Thank
want to come
you.
in and grab something. But we have we have pumpkin spice, of course, because that's mandatory.
You have to.
Pumpkin-based cookie with vanilla chips and a brown butter frosting. Oh, I love the sound of brown butter frosting. I love that. We have s'mores, marshmallow fluff center, chocolate chips drizzled with chocolate and topped with marshmallows. And you got to try that.
Thank you.
I had one little teeny slice. You know
Which
what?
one?
These cookies are almost worth dying for. All right, send my glucose to 1,400. I don't care. I'm eating a cookie. But then we got the caramel apple pie.
Here comes Daniel.
Caramel apple pie cookie. These are really...
Okay.
Daniel, try these.
So this
They're
is a
really-
caramel apple pie.
Yes, caramel apple pie.
Wait, which
Give
one?
it a try.
Which one's in the middle there?
S'more.
This is the s'mores.
Oh, okay.
And then we have maple pecan.
Okay.
Inspired by the BYU Cougar tail. That's
nice.
the maple donut that you can get that's about that big at Cougar Stadium.
Okay.
Well, Lavelle Edwards
So it
Stadium.
doesn't taste like the actual tail of a cougar.
No, it
That's
does
just
not.
what it's called.
It does
You know
not.
what an actual tail of a cougar
I don't know how
tastes
you
like?
market that.
Has anybody tried the caramel apple pie yet?
I
It's
just did.
made with apple cider and our delicious homemade caramel. You like it? Yeah.
anything
it's
with
so
caramel.
good. So delicious. Anyway, these
Wow.
could be yours. Just go to Kexi.com, KEKSI.com, and try these new flavors because they're outstanding.
Did you bring
Did
some?
you like that? What'd you have, Chris?
The caramel one.
The caramel
yeah.
apple pie.
What's
yeah.
inside? I see some like white nuts on the
No,
pecan.
I think they're. Oh,
macadamia
oh,
nuts.
yes, the maple pecan is what you're eating.
Yeah.
The maple pecan does have pecans in it. So keep that in mind if you're wildly allergic to, I don't know,
nuts.
pecans. Okay.
I will say.
You got to be careful.
It needs some milk.
Milk. Shut up about the milk. Okay? Shut up.
How many pounds of frosting is per cookies? Because this is
12.
so much. Okay.
12 pounds per cookie.
Per cookie.
Also, 12 pounds of butter in each cookie. And somehow we managed to squeeze all the calories out of it.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Nice.
If we included the ingredients and the what do they call that? The nutritional information.
Oh, no.
It would say 0 calories, 0 fat.
Wow.
That's if you did that.
If you did that.
But you don't,
But we
so-
don't. So
We want people to know.
And how much love is inside of all these?
all kinds of love made with love. Not from me, so you don't have to worry about that. They're made by my wife who invented these things. It's really cool. I love it when she's working on a new flavor because she always brings home the samples. And it's like, what do you think of this? This one's pretty.
She's still doing that?
Yeah.
She
is. She's trying to kill me.
She's trying to kill you.
She's trying to kill me dead and collect the insurance money.
No,
Thank
it's
you for
okay.
noticing.
It's okay. What do you think of this?
So if I die from an overdose of cookie, you know who to blame. Okay? It's a cookie overdose. We found him there with crumbs all over his chest.
Was he smiling? Yes, he was.
He was smiling. Big fat smile on his fat face. All right.
This apple's really good, though.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. It's not the salted caramel cookie, but it's kind of like it.
it's close, though, yeah.
It's like it.
Yeah.
It's just got the added flavor of apple, too.
That's literally the only way you're going to get anything close to a fruit inside Jeffy. Is put it
Oh, my God, that's right.
Is a apple flavoring on a cookie.
It's almost a religious edict for you,
Oh,
isn't
my
it,
gosh.
not to have fruit?
I should have thought of that.
All right, we got there. We came across this very strange video from these guys.
Yeah, we've seen these guys before. I forget their names.
Is
though.
it okay? So anyway, this is a podcast. They're talking about the airplane lady.
Okay.
She's the woman that said that
From
MF.
Dallas here.
Yeah, it happened right at DFW Airport. She's apparently a businesswoman here, quite successful, but she went nuts on the plane, and somehow, for some reason, decided the person next to her wasn't real, and so she wanted to get off the plane because you don't want to be flying with somebody who's not real.
Correct.
You don't want that.
No one
Nobody wants that, and it's hard to blame her. Anyway, they've stumbled onto something here. Check this out.
The airplane lady.
Those people aren't real?
No one's been able to track her down, right?
no.
She just popped up this past week on TMZ.
It's basically her just saying, I apologize, I shouldn't have done that. When I saw it, I was like, that doesn't look like her. We didn't know who she was for the first couple weeks. Like, they couldn't even find a name. She started a new Twitter account when she posted this video. The first person she followed was TMZ. So people started doing like some AI face detection. There's this guy that does it online professionally, and he says if you get a score 0.6 or below, it is the same person. He put videos that were on the plane, videos that were outside the plane of the real Tiffany.
And it's not her.
1.2. Guys, like, I was not expecting this.
1.2.
This makes me really interested. One other dude checks her IP address from the video.
Okay.
Guess where it tracked to?
TMZ headquarters.
Texas. 2 blocks away from the White House, Washington, D.C.
Okay.
What?
Did she see
Okay, so what's the implication here then?
Right.
Be like, this was so embarrassing.
I'm telling you, right now.
Can you believe they mocked her at the end?
Ninjas
like
are butterflies. Is that group there? I don't know, man. I don't know. But
I don't
that's
either.
interesting.
I mean, what is he implicate? What are you implying? That so what if it's a different person? What does that mean? So what if she's from D.C.? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what you're implying.
I like the idea of. I mean, even the girl was like TMZ headquarters. No,
right.
the 6 blocks from the White House. Oh,
2. It was only
Okay,
2
sorry.
blocks from the White
Yeah,
House.
Okay, well.
don't change
Okay.
the story, bro.
Right.
Come on.
And don't
Sorry.
tase me either, bro. Don't tase me, bro.
And don't vaccinate me, bro.
Don't vax
Available at
here we go.
patgrayshop.com.
Here we go.
Here we go with what?
With what?
Yeah, what is that? I don't understand.
A little promotion, which you are certainly above.
Wow.
I will mention that.
no. He doesn't want me ever bringing up the vaccine because then it
okay.
reminds him that
Right.
I was right about it.
Yes.
So that's what
and
that's
that
all
he
about.
was wrong.
Oh, I didn't add that part, but if you want to go there, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong. I got COVID too.
Yes, you did. Yes. In
I
fact,
got COVID too.
in spite of the vaccination that you received, which was supposed to
correct.
completely protect you
That's
from
correct.
ever contracting the illness.
God. And people are still considering putting this.
That's
they will.
unbelievable.
They will.
It's unbelievable.
The Democrats are going to be lined up in mid-September.
They are pushing it already, man.
Uh-huh.
It is.
And they said it's going to be ready middle of this month, right? Isn't that
How convenient.
Yeah, and amazingly,
Yeah,
then
mid-September.
I read a big story about a new variant that will have nothing to do with this
Oh,
vaccine.
well, we'll need another vaccine then.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm looking forward to
That
this.
just inspires them to create more.
Sure does.
You know what we should do is create a new vaccine every week. What about one a week? Just anticipate what's coming. They're so good at anticipating things.
Our shareholders
pretty
demand
close.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much what they're doing.
Exactly.
And then we'll really love Big Pharma all of a sudden. If they do it for us every single week, it'll show how much they love us. So that's what I encourage them to do. We'll see if that happens.
If you know anybody that's getting these shots, you need to tell them to their face that they're an idiot. I'm at this point,
Yeah, it's
if someone is rolling up their sleeves for these vaccine, these boosters, whatever the hell they are at this point, just tell them, man, you are dumb. I never realized that about you.
except I will say that some of these people aren't necessarily stupid, but they're definitely insulated. You know, they only watch CNN or MSNBC. They only read the New York Times. They're in their own little world, and so maybe they don't know.
So they've chosen to watch CNN and MSNBC, and I would like to go back to my original premise. Man, they're dumb.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Same thing still applies.
Same thing.
So the rule works no matter what. Saudi Arabia has just sentenced a man to death, and you're going to say, "Wow, that wasn't bad enough for him." When you hear what he did, he tweeted something they didn't like. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
You know.
Now,
He tweeted.
Did he tweet or did he X?
No, he X'd. Yes, because it was recent.
Okay.
It was recent.
Okay.
Also, he had some activity on YouTube they didn't like.
Oh.
So obviously.
This guy was bad, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Obviously, this man needs to die.
What was he?
And die soon.
So he was a pedophile?
No.
A murderer?
No.
Okay.
He tweeted something against the Saudi government.
I see.
It's coming to a country near you
I was
soon.
about to say, it's kind of similar to how we operate over here now.
Yeah. They just sentenced the doctoral student, Salma al-Shihab, to a really long prison. I think it was 25 years because she also did something they didn't like. I mean, it was the way Saudi Arabia is cracking down on people right now. It does lead you to believe that, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be involved with their sovereign wealth fund. Maybe we shouldn't be involved with their golf tournaments. I don't know.
Go play soccer. Don't worry about it. Just play soccer. For $500 million. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, why can't countries be like us? You know, I mean, all we do is put people behind bars for 17 years in solitary confinement for moving barricades.
It is sad that we can't really be holier than thou anymore.
No, we
isn't
can't.
it?
No, we can't.
It's sad. Here I am going off on Saudi Arabia. We've essentially done about the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Shining city on a hill, aren't we?
Oh, my God.
Now, I will say that he did more than the barricade thing, right? I mean, he
tweeted.
crossed the line.
Yeah, he tweeted.
He did cross the police line.
You're talking about the guy here.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He did
Saudi
cross.
Arabia.
He crossed the police
Saudi
line.
Arabia person's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So is this person that he's only getting 17 years.
Yeah. Who knows
in
what's going to
prison.
happen in 17 years?
Boy, that's for sure.
And the conditions that they are putting these J6 prisoners.
And are they even giving them an opportunity for parole?
Well, they're federal crimes, so you have to serve. I can't remember if it's 2/3 or 3/4.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You must serve by law that amount of time. So you can't get out early on good behavior or any other situation. It's bad.
It's gross.
It's bad. So if you're sentenced to 17 years, I think you've served like for sure 14 of those, something to that effect. Yeah, these are serious sentences being doled out to these people. And some of them didn't even go into the building. Who is it? I think one of them got 18 years and didn't even enter the Capitol building. It's despicable.
Well,
it's
did
un-American.
he think about it?
He did think about it. Yeah. So it was a thought crime. And you know how heinous those are.
I do.
You do. So I don't need to tell you, my friend, how heinous thought crimes are.
No, you do not.
All right. Let's talk for a minute about the situation going on in this world, on this planet, and the disruption to supply chains that we've experienced already, the food supply chain. And right now, we are experiencing a supply chain problem with medication.
Yes, we are.
And I experienced it myself. I couldn't get the Mounjaro for 2 weeks. And so it's partially brought on probably by people trying to lose weight in addition to diabetics. So it's probably
shortages, damn it.
Yeah, right. But there's also some problems with antibiotics.
Yeah.
And that could be deadly. So don't let it happen to you. Be prepared. Jace case. The Jace case from Jace Medical is a great way to be prepared for any eventuality. It's a pack of 5 different courses of antibiotics that you can use to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses. Respiratory infections, sinus infections, skin infections. In Jeffy's case, all kinds of STDs. So
that's what they're used for.
Right? That's what they're used for.
It's better to be prepared.
It is. So go to jacemedical.com. Enter the promo code PAT at checkout and save. It's promo code PAT at jacemedical.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
few tweets here. Sasquatch Cougar fan tweets, why worry about Social Security and retirement? Why worry about money? Move to California and you can get anything you want under the law of grab and run. You never need to worry about money there. You can even be a squatter. Yes.
Yeah.
So find a nice mansion that somebody only uses part-time or they're on vacation and just move in.
It's interesting. A lot of those giant homes like that, and I say, the houses of the hoity-toity, they have security. They have hired security with armed security that looks after their places.
Jeffy's done some recon for us, apparently.
From Beer and Opinions, oil is a perpetually reproducing magic gift from Mother Earth. Sure is. I believe that. We're going to talk to somebody about that in just a few. Tim Clarey about that. He's got some interesting facts and theories on oil and how it can't be fossil fuel. So, plus the other thing that, and I think our guest last week, what was his name? The scientist from the IR.
The doctor.
I see. Dr. Thomas mentioned that oil can't be around. It couldn't be fossil fuel because that means it came from 65 million years ago. Well, the bacteria would have eaten it all up by now.
Correct.
And it hasn't. So how did that happen?
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, High Plains Stranger tweets, Democrats are green with envy over Saudi Arabia using capital punishment for tweets. I bet they are.
Yeah.
Boy, don't give them ideas.
Oh, man.
Well, they are. I mean, they already have those ideas, right? I mean, that's why they're so pissed at Elon, because Elon kicked them all out. Kicked the government out. Well, at least it appeared that he kicked them out. I don't know that he actually has.
There's a few Trojan horses still hanging out.
I believe that to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Biden has asserted executive privilege to block the release of hundreds of his emails. So we got that going for us. I mean, this guy is just so brazen, and he doesn't care what anybody
Has
thinks.
he blocked Robert L. Peters' emails? Because Robert L. Peters was never president.
Right. That's true. That is true.
Because wouldn't you have to admit that, hey, that's me?
I think you would.
In order to block him?
Well, seems like you would. Although, would anybody ask him about it? Maybe Peter Ducey would. Oh, did you? I don't know if we. I don't think I didn't send it in for the show, did I? Was the Peter Ducey thing from yesterday where he asked KJP the question, and it all focuses on the journalists around Peter Ducey after he asks the question and their reaction to it, like they're stunned. How? Like, whoa!
Wait, which question was this?
It was.
I haven't seen this.
Something about the response. Okay, the response to Maui.
In relationship to the response to the hurricane.
Yes. And his ultimate question was,
I'll see if
is it just that this president responds more effectively when he's not on vacation?
Yes,
oh, did I not send that in?
Yes.
I did see that.
And the guy next to him, his eyebrows go up. He closes his eyes. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's a great reaction.
I did see that.
Priceless. All right. 888-900-3393. Also, Pat Unleashed on Twitter. A few days ago, there was a gunshot at a Chicago White Sox game, and a reporter.
Yeah, it went off.
Yeah,
in the stadium.
As I reported on ESPN 1000 just now. Is there an ESPN 1000?
Sure.
All right.
In Chicago, probably.
The shooting at Guaranteed Rate Field.
All right, don't lose focus. Don't lose focus.
During a White Sox game was indeed an accidental discharge by one of the women grazed by the bullet.
Oh, no.
She reportedly snuck the gun in past metal detectors, hiding it in the folds of her belly fat.
That's what they figure it can only be, right? Because they've investigated all around the shots. They said
Wait a minute.
the shots came from inside the stadium.
Right.
They didn't come from outside the stadium.
Hold on.
And
you can hide a gun from a metal detector
in your belly fat.
In rolls of belly fat.
I'm guessing that the gun was stashed in between a couple of rolls.
Yeah, walk us through how that works.
And the wander just didn't wand the belly.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Can the wand go through? Can it penetrate the rolls of fat? Do we know that for a fact?
We do not.
Okay.
That is a weak.
So she might have been wanted.
Possible.
She might have been wanted.
She might have been wanted, but it's possible. I feel like the Wander would be like, you're out of here.
Yeah, but at the Rangers, you have to go through the metal detector, then you get wanted. I mean, it's a twofer. And you'd think Chicago, of all cities, would be better prepared to find guns on patrons.
Depending on what you've eaten in the past years, I mean, maybe the rolls are some really,
dense
fat.
Did she eat Kevlar? I mean, not Kevlar.
We had a story back in like 1990, and I remember it was that year because we just had gotten to Baltimore. Glenn and I started in Baltimore in 1990 or 89 or something. But anyway, there was a story about a woman who had a tuna fish sandwich
stuck in her folds,
stuck in the rolls of her fat, and it had to be
surgically
extracted
removed,
surgically.
Oh my gosh!
Because it actually grew into her body.
How's
it had
breakfast
been there
working
for
out,
so
y'all?
long, it grew it became a part of her. That's
Why are you
gross.
laughing?
I'm
It's
not.
the struggles
I'm not.
of people.
I'm just saying.
Thank you.
That it's yes.
Is this fat shaming happening?
No,
It kind of is.
No, it is not.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
And I feel like
no,
it
is
is.
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We don't tolerate it.
It is right
on this show.
on the cusp.
I feel like it is.
No, I'm just pointing out some facts and saying that I feel bad for people who've had a tuna fish sandwich
Do you?
embedded in their body.
Do you?
In the rolls of their fat? Yeah, I feel badly for her.
Jeffy, do you like tuna fish sandwiches?
This is why you need handlers.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is why after you pass
When
the
you
mark
when you
of-
can't get out of bed anymore.
Yeah, you need a handler. You need to do.
I love how you've thought this thing out. You've really thought it through and considered these possibilities. 'Cause
Every angle.
At one time, you were planning to become a 600.
I wanted to be craned out of my house.
Hang on.
I
I'm
wanted to
sorry.
be craned out of my home. Yeah, I thought about it.
I'm hung up on the tuna fish story in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not realize either like, hey, where did it go?
Right.
Or hey, what's that?
What's that smell of rotting tuna?
Right.
No, there's other smells that you're concerned about before the rotting
Again,
tuna.
he's thought all this
There's
through
other-
already. There's nothing you can say about this topic that he hasn't experienced.
Congratulations to our guest in the other room. You get to follow up tuna fish and fat folds talk.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's what we do. We just go off on tangents. All right, we're going to talk oil and it being a life-saving goo that comes from the earth. Renewable. Coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We're excited to have Tim Clarey from the Institute for Creation Research with us. You're the director of research? Tim?
I am, yeah, just recently promoted, yes.
Okay.
Right. Nice.
Congratulations.
That's a cool place over there.
Pay
you guys
raise?
have.
How much you pulling down?
Yeah,
a year?
so what do you make a year? Go ahead and tell us.
Well, I tell you that, Dave Napier will be mad at me.
Please don't tell us.
You'd be amazed how many people would you just straight up ask them, tell you.
A lot.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
a lot.
Yeah.
If I was
So
working for an oil company, I'd be making at least 3 or 4 times what I'm making.
Oh, wow.
So they pay
Well,
them the best.
what a dumb
Well, you
move
don't need
that
to
was.
negotiate. You don't need to negotiate a new deal.
You don't have
here.
to answer these
No, it's the
questions,
greatest
man.
it's the greatest job ever because I get to tell people, there really was a global flood.
Yeah.
And there's evidence to back it up. So
Yeah. You also have a Master's of Science in Geology, right?
correct.
Got that in 1984. Mm-hmm. I'll try not to hold this against you. From the University of Wyoming.
Yes. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
That's a team that BYU has beaten time and time and time again, as you know. Which is,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still sore.
It's right. His PhD in geology was received in 1996 from Western. So you went to Western Michigan as well.
I went back, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell us about oil. We had a brief discussion when we visited a few weeks ago about oil and my theory, which you didn't agree with necessarily, that it's a renewable goo that comes from the earth. What is your theory on it?
Well, in some ways, it is still forming. So in that way, it's renewable, but there is a limited amount, of course, to anything. And the Earth is only a certain size, and there's a certain amount of organic debris on the Earth. But I believe it's still forming. And so a lot of these oil fields that they go into, they produce more than they should. But of course, it can only fill the reservoirs very, very slowly. So if you deplete a oil field, it may take several hundred years for that to fill back up. So it's really, in some ways, it's renewable. But yeah,
we find other ones.
Right, correct. There's a lot of oil out there. But the oil is all actually young because it can't be old or it would all decayed away. And there's bacteria in the ground no matter how deep we've drilled, 20,000, 25,000 feet, there's always bacteria. And so bacteria loves to eat oil. And if you spill oil, like the Horizons, when they spilled the oil across the Gulf, bacteria at the surface ate a lot of it up. And so most of it was eaten by bacteria. Underground, there's still bacteria. It just eats a little slower.
Okay. We were talking about a video we saw from a guy. I don't remember his name. What's his name?
I just had it up here.
He seemed like he knew what he was talking about.
He did.
Perhaps he didn't.
Well, there's a lot of us that seem to.
Yeah. But he said that fossils only go as far as deep as 16,000 feet, but we drill for oil at 30,000 all the time. Is that not true?
That's not true. There's fossils all the way down to, if you basically they start with the so-called Cambrian. There's the Cambrian explosion. So sometimes those rocks go all the way down, like in Wyoming, 30,000 feet down. And so if you drill that deep, you would hit those fossils as well. But where the oil comes from is the shale-rich rocks, the shales that have a lot of organics trapped in them. And to trap that organic, you have to bury them fast. So even these shales were deposited much more quickly than what you're often being told. They do flume experiments in the laboratory, and they show that to make the shales with the laminations, the thin layers that we see, that they almost like the bricks, but much, much thinner, just a few eighths of, centimeters and millimeters apart. To see these little fine lines that you see in these layers, you have to have moving water. And so even the clays that are supposed to be deposited slowly are deposited by moving water, which fits in the model of the flood that we promote at the Institute for Creation Research. There was a global flood, and that these rock layers were deposited quickly, preserving the organics. Today, organics, when things die, they decompose at the bottom. They don't get buried in the rocks. And so you shouldn't have all this organic debris that's in these rocks. And that organic debris becomes the source for the oil. So as that gets buried in the Earth's internal heat kind of cooks it out. There's a certain window at about 5,000 to 20,000 feet down called the oil window, where oil actually is kind of cooked out of this organic debris. And so what we do is we try to find where that oil goes and find these traps, the folds, like an upside-down bowl, that can kind of trap the oil. But even that, they leak away. And there's fractures and cracks, and the oil will actually make it to the surface. And that's the first oil wells were drilled near oil seeps because oil was seeping right out of the ground. So it's pretty easy to find.
It was bubbling crude for one guy.
Yeah, you didn't need geologists to find oil. You just drilled near an oil seep. And so there was an early one in Saginaw, Michigan, actually, one of the first wells drilled in Michigan.
Right there. On the thumb map.
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
No, it's fine. But they drilled that in their seeps as well. There's lots of oil found all over. And then eventually,
there's oil under in the bottom of the ocean, right?
It's still seeping up. Yeah, and they blame the oil companies for leaks, but it's really natural oil coming out of the ground. So there's a lot of oil that's coming out.
And the Earth takes care of it,
right? And if oil was really millions and millions of years old, it'd be gone. It would be decomposed.
Right.
Although the conventional geologists try to argue that oil can get somehow magically pasteurized. They don't say the word magically. But it's pasteurized. But it becomes pasteurized at like 80 degrees Celsius.
So you can drink it because it has been through the pasteurization
there's no
process.
Bacteria. Yeah. But they forget that there's groundwater that brought the oil there is always moving. And groundwater is flowing in, bringing in new bacteria. And you've also got bacteria that we know lives near Yellowstone National Park in these hot springs. That gives us all the different colors as you go to these hot springs that can live almost to the boiling point and actually above. So there is bacteria everywhere. And as we've drilled the deepest, they've tested the waters, there's always bacteria 25,000 feet down. There's always bacteria. So the oil can't survive millions of years. When I worked for Chevron, they told me the oil was 150 million years old in Wyoming, just sitting there waiting for us to tap into. And when you think about it, that makes no sense at all. Because you put oil in your shed in your back and leave it there for 20 years, or gasoline, it's not going to run very well. It's
going to degrade.
That's right. And it degrades underground just as well. But the problem is geologists aren't taught to think that through. They're just taught these old Earth, deep time.
Oh, yeah,
deep
it's
time,
150
deep time.
million years old.
And they throw those. That's it. They throw the numbers out there like they mean something. But
you would think somebody somewhere who's been through all the schooling would say, "Hey, you know what? What we've been thinking, the current theory just doesn't make any sense," and that they would speak out about that. But they don't seem to.
No, they have to keep quiet. When I work for the oil company, you just kind of look for oil. They just want you to find oil. It doesn't. They don't really care how old you think it is. They assume it's
We're just not talking about it.
Yeah, they just want you to find oil. And you can find oil whether you think it's millions of years old or thousands of years old, like I believe, or even maybe hundreds of years old.
Well, in Texas, we find oil just from kids digging in their sandboxes. And it just, they'll hit a geyser, and it's like, whoa, their kid struck oil again.
And there's truth to that. You can go drill 100 feet down in places in Texas and hit oil still.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really kind of drives that point home, I think, is when we're fracking here in West Texas. When they frack into these oil fields, they frack into the shale rocks, the rocks that have the organics in them. And those rocks are supposed to be several hundred million years old. Well, wouldn't that oil have all been produced by now? So when they frack, they should be going in there and getting no oil. The oil should have been produced millions of years ago. But yet they're still finding tremendous amounts of oil in those rocks. Those rocks are not that old.
So I've often heard that J.D. Rockefeller over 100 years ago was trying to make it seem like there was a finite supply. These are fossil fuels, and we got to jack the price up because, we're going to run out. So I understand that motivation for trying to convince us that oil, we're going to run out. Okay. What is the motivation today for holding on to that same theory?
Well, I think a lot of it today has shifted a little bit from that. There used to be this peak oil. We're going to reach peak oil. Then they started fracking to find a whole, they doubled our oil
because
reserves.
the people trying to eliminate oil now from our lives aren't capitalists.
Right. No, but they want they want to make money in another way. So they want us to stop doing oil. They're trying to make it an environmental problem.
Yeah.
But we still, our whole world runs over three-fourths of our energy for the world is supplied by oil, coal, or natural gas. And so when you plug in your electric car, you're really plugging into oil, coal, and natural gas to get your electricity.
Interesting how that works.
So why are they buying these electric cars when they're really running off the grid, which is most of it supplied by oil, coal, and natural gas? We can't get rid of oil, coal, and natural gas.
But boy, they're trying.
But they're trying, and like you say, it is somewhat renewable in a way because it's still forming. There's been studies done that show the oil is still forming. These fields are still slowly filling up drop by drop. They has to kind of be carried by the groundwater, which moves about 50 feet per year on the average. And so slowly, over hundreds of years, you can fill a lot of these fields back up, I believe, because the oil is still there. The fracking has proved it. The oil is still forming.
So it's renewable.
Essentially.
In some ways, yeah. In some ways, there's a limit to the amount of organic debris. But they did a study back in 1978, and because people scoff and say, well, how can the flood explain all the oil? But in 1978, this guy did a study, and they might have doubled the oil or so since then. But they showed that the organic debris in the ocean today, if you were to capture all the organics in the oil, in the world today in one day and bury it all, you'd explain all the oil in the world, tens of times over. It's just a small percentage of what is found in the oil. And so there's a tremendous amount of biota out there, as the biologists call it, that can easily explain all the oil that's ever been found.
Biota?
Yeah, just the organic debris. Mostly oil comes from marine algae and plankton. And what's amazing is they've actually...
And dinosaurs.
And, people do say that, but maybe a small amount. But mostly they can fingerprint it back to the source rocks, and it comes from marine algae for the most part.
Yeah.
And they actually have made marine algae into oil in less than an hour in a laboratory.
Really?
And so you can make oil really quickly. Oil doesn't take millions of years. Oil, you can make it.
Is it pasteurized?
Probably not. If it is, it's temporarily pasteurized, and then more bacteria comes in. So there may be moments when it is, but oil cannot survive millions of years. So when they tell you these millions of years, now just try to imagine a million years, and you can't. It's an unfathomable number. Right. And so the early geologists, even before they had ways to try to use radioactive dating to try to get to those dates, they threw the millions of years out there because it's almost like monopoly money.
One of the things that was brought up last week, we were talking about the young Earth theory, is Mount St. Helens and the information there, and that the rocks look and test like they were millions of years old, right? And they formed 40 years ago?
Right, 1980, 1982, and those a couple of eruptions that took place. And
how does science explain that?
Well, they've changed their theories now from strict uniformitarianism, which means, of course, everything was slow, slow erosion, slow deposition, to, there's periodic catastrophes now. And so but that did kind of change the the outlook on when I was a geology student from when I first started to when I ended.
So are they saying it either takes 65 million years or a catastrophe? Is that how they explain it?
Well, they say there's periodic catastrophes spread over millions of years. That's kind of how they explain it. And so that's, the idea that
periodic catastrophes over millions of years.
Yeah, that's how they explain the rock layers. There's certain layers that came in as big major floods, burying a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
We see that as, what we see around the world is we see the studies that I'm doing, I see the same rock layers essentially in the same order on every continent. So I've gotten through 5 continents now, plotting up all the oil data all over the world. I'm working on Australia now. But the other 5 continents all show the exact same pattern of a progressive flooding of the continents. There's a little bit of flooding, more flooding, more flooding. They all show essentially the same pattern of fossils, the same pattern of rocks on every continent.
We talked a little bit about that last week,
and to me, that's the most powerful evidence that I can show. The rocks themselves show there really was a global flood. There was a global phenomenon that had to deposit those rocks in the same order.
Same level, yeah.
Secular science just doesn't. They can't bring themselves to admit that there was a global flood, right? They believe that to be impossible,
right? Because they're stuck with that deep time. They have to have that to use deep time to kind of hide behind this shroud of mystery that evolution could actually happen.
We have a tweet here that someone has a question for you from ours. He says, ask him about the earthquake fault subduction zones, all the organic matter that gets cooked as it goes under.
Well, a lot of that becomes metamorphic, but a lot of that, the subduction zones.
That was going to be my comment on it.
The subduction zones,
and I hate to scoop you like that.
The subduction zones actually are a support of a real rapid plate movement that we believe took place during the flood year, because you see these really cold slabs, rocks, the density indicates that they're really cold all the way down to the core. And so how do you explain these, if you're moving just a couple inches per year over millions of years, how do you explain these things are still cold deep down in the earth all the way down to the core? So there's actually strong empirical evidence that the flood really did happen, that it used real rapid plate movement during the flood year to separate the continents to where we are today.
Right.
And it's amazing to me that I understand it if you don't believe in God, but if you do believe in God, why is it such a leap that the whole earth could be? Of course God could do that. Of course he can do that. If he can create this planet and the universe, he can certainly find enough moisture to flood the planet.
Well, you just got to push the bottom of the ocean up and see how. The kind of how it works is as you make real rapid crust, the ocean is hot, and hot stuff rises just like a balloon. So the bottom of the ocean pushed up, and that pushed the water progressively onto the continents. That's exactly what the rocks show. The rocks show a progressive flood on every continent. And you see more and more flooding as you go along, and that's what my data is showing that we're doing over at ICR. Is that there is a progressive flood that really does match what
because every continent is the same.
Every continent is the same, and they all show that same progressive flood. It starts out minimal and more and more and more, and that's exactly what you'd see if you push the bottom of the ocean up. As you're making more ocean crust rapidly during the flood year, you would get more and more flooding. The water would go higher and higher. Eventually, it reaches the point where it goes over the top. You didn't have the huge mountains we have today. Those formed as the waters were receding, all the Himalayas and all these things, because they have
that's
fossils
what they
all
say.
the way
How
up.
did it cover Mount Everest?
It didn't. It
wasn't there. It wasn't that high anyway.
At the top of Mount Everest, there's marine fossils. There's marine fossils all over the place mixed in with dinosaurs.
There are marine fossils at the top of Mount Everest. Interesting. How do they explain that?
Flying fish.
Well, we'll get to that in just a sec. First, I got to tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust. This is a company Glenn started years ago because he had such a bad experience with his realtor. I think his realtor kind of dabbled in it, but was a friend of a friend or a relative or something, and he didn't want you to have to go through that. So, created this network where it's only the best of the best. We find the best in your market, and we get you in touch with them. And it's a service we provide free to you, so that you don't have to go through all this hassle. And you can have somebody that really knows what they're doing and has been successful at real estate and made a career out of it. So go to Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
Okay. So the explanation on that, Tim. By the way, we're talking to Dr. Tim Clarey from the Institute for Creation Research. Tell us about that.
I'm trying to remember what the explanation was.
Fossils, the fish fossils on top
the fish
of
fossils. What do they say about?
They just say that those are pushed up over slowly over millions of years.
Pushed up.
Sorry, I lost.
Wait, they're pushed up to the top of Mount Everest.
Well, they believe the plate movement is really slow, and you have this slow movement of just a couple inches per year, and slowly you push these things up, and the Himalayas are still growing today by a little bit of inch or so.
Okay, so this is debris from millions and millions of years ago.
But one thing they don't address is why about 80% of the world's mountains all form at the same time, which is all within what I believe is the receding phase of the flood.
Right.
During what's called the Cenozoic, or these other terms they throw out to the Tertiary. Just before the Ice Age, all these mountains pop up: the Andes, the Rockies, the Himalayas, the Alps. Almost all the mountains all show up at the same time, and there's no explanation for that really of why all these things happen simultaneously all over the world. Other than it's a global phenomenon, which I believe is associated with the global flood. That's part of the rebounding, kind of the Earth had all these things being moved rapidly, real rapid plate movement during the flood year, disrupted the mantle a lot and caused a lot of movement up and down of a lot of the mountains. So most of Wyoming's mountains and Utah's mountains all formed very, very late in the flood year, and they've pushed a lot of fossil-rich sediments all the way up, thousands of feet up.
So someone just sent me this, and if you can't speak to this, then that's cool. But they just sent me a Forbes article from 3 days ago. The headline is, "Oil is going to $300 a barrel." So, I mean, back in 2008, as the article says, we ended up just below $200 a barrel. Can you speak to where the price of oil is going to go, in your opinion?
Well, it's going to go up and down. So it could spike, but it's going to come back down because I got laid off when it was down. I mean, in 92, they laid all the oil companies laid people off because it was sitting around $12 a barrel, and they couldn't make any money. So they got rid of most of their exploration, and I was one of them. But that allowed me to get my PhD, and so I would never got my PhD if
everything happens for a reason, Doc.
And I believe that allowed me to get into ICR and do the research I'm doing now.
So did you always believe as you do now, or did you come to that somewhere along the line in your
I always
career?
kind of believed it because I read Henry Morris and John Whitcomb's book as a high school kid with my brothers growing up in Michigan. We read the Genesis flood, and we saw that there was some evidence, that isn't being talked about in the schools of the global flood from the geologic standpoint. And I was just a nerdy kid, hoeing beans in the fields and picking up fossils, but to me,
that's what you do in Michigan.
It always kind of kept me, kind of grounded. And there's another story here that are not being told. So I went through all this school, evolution, and millions of years, and just kept thinking there's another side to this. But it wasn't until I came to ICR that I was able to really dive into it full time and start really digging into it and saying there really is strong evidence that there was a global flood. That's what the rocks really do show.
And at your time at the oil companies, I mean, there had to have been plenty of times when you were like, no, guys, this is not right.
Well, that's like in Wyoming, they said the oil is 150 million years old, just sitting there. Just sitting there all this time, we just tap into it, and it's still under pressure. How can pressures maintain that long as well? And so you hit these overpressured zones, and all that stuff screams young. The Earth's not that old. The rocks are deposited really rapidly.
Right.
So there's still high-pressured zones.
I mean, we're told that fossil fuels are so dirty, and we've got to transition to green. How much does it affect our pollution and the environment?
Well, that's a good point, because if you look up some graphs and charts that I talk about, actually our air pollution has gone down considerably since 1970.
Oh, yeah.
And so even though we're burning all these things, even our CO2 output has gone down in recent years. And so what they're telling you and what's really happening, and even two different things, the deaths due to climate problems, climate issues and catastrophes from the climate. If you go back to 1900 to now, they've dropped considerably.
Yep.
But they're not telling people that. They're telling you this narrative that they want to tell you that oil's bad, and and it is if you don't burn it cleanly. If you burn coal and just let it go, like China's doing, and other countries are just burning out there, and everything's becoming
and like we used to, like before we learned.
In England, everything was covered in soot. I kid around and say the the pictures we used to take in the 19th century were color pictures.
Right.
But they were covered in black and white. So it's not really true, but I think I heard that in The Simpsons.
It's not? Weird.
I think I heard that from Homer Simpson one time. But, I learned everything from Homer Simpson. So.
Last week, we talked a little bit about the soft tissue in dinosaurs being found. And so after the show, I looked up, okay, well, how do you explain that as a secular scientist? And they explained it by iron deposits in the blood of the dinosaurs. Well, don't we all have iron deposits? That keeps the tissue soft for 65 million years?
Again, it's kind of magic. But there's a lot of things that have been found there in worm fossils, for example, that are supposed to be 500 million years old. There's no blood iron to drench these things. There's other areas of the body where there's no iron to drench and preserve these things. And the experiment she did was only a 2-year experiment. And she didn't really do a lot of chemical tests at the end. She just said, this one looks more decayed than this one. And so in some ways, it might have preserved things a little better. But you don't have that iron everywhere.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these animals that we're finding these things in, not just dinosaurs, but things that are supposedly hundreds of millions of years older, that there's no iron to bathe them in. And so they throw that out there like they got the solution. But it's really just a rescuing device because that's all they have.
Yeah.
You know,
it's amazing on how many issues they do that.
Jack Horner,
incredible.
The paleontologist, even said in his book about 10 years ago, he said, the creationists are going to love this. And of course we do, because it really is compelling evidence. There's been over 120 published papers now that have found different discoveries at different levels throughout the rocks, all the fossils, and they all show the same thing: the preserved proteins, preserved blood vessels, preserved hemoglobin, all these different. Don't know enough biology to know rattle off all these the names, but that's the same thing oil is. Oil is organic deposits from marine algae. Oil, that's why it burns. It's organic. It should be gone. If it's really millions of years old, there shouldn't be any oil.
Right.
That's cool.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
Appreciate your stopping by.
Thank you.
Dr. Tim Clarey from the Institute for Creation Research. And by the way, go to the Discovery Center. Take your kids, your grandkids, ICR.org for more information on that. I think you'll have a great time when you stop by. And thanks for sharing with us, Tim.
You got time for a plug?
Yeah, real quick.
Well, we're having
10 seconds.
We're having a big mega conference in Phoenix in October 12th to the 14th. With Kyle Mann from Babylon Bee, Jeff Williams, an astronaut who can tell you the Earth's not flat. And then myself and a few.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.